Hello everybody, it is book review time with me, Nina Soden, the redheaded author, and today we are talking about Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate. Look at that cover, oh my gosh. Okay, this book was released on May 21st, earlier this year, 2019. And it was written, like I said, by Lisa Wingate, who has written numerous books. Amazing author. All right, I gave this one 4 stars. Writing, story, characters, appearance, 4 stars across the board. All right, let's start really quick with the description. Memphis, 1939. 12-year-old Rill Foss and her 4 younger siblings live a magical life aboard their family's Mississippi River shanty boat. But when their father must rush their mother to the hospital one stormy night, Rill is left in charge until strangers arrive in force. Wrenched from all that is familiar and thrown into a Tennessee Children's Home Society orphanage, the Foss children are assured that they will soon be returned to their parents. But they quickly realize the dark truth. All the mercy of the facility's real-life director, the cruel Georgia Tan, Rill fights to keep her sisters and brothers together. Okay, that is the one aspect of this story, and I will later talk to you about how this story is torn into. There are 2 different aspects. The second aspect is this: Aiken, South Carolina, present day. Born to wealth and privilege, Avery Stafford seems to have it all: a successful career, a handsome fiancé, and a lavish wedding on the horizon. But when she returns home to help her father weather a health crisis, a chance encounter leaves her with uncomfortable questions and compels her to take a journey through her family's long hidden history, on a path that will ultimately lead either to devastation or to redemption. All right, that is the second half. All right, let's get into the critical points. I didn't know anything about this book when I picked it up to read it. It was a book club selection, so I didn't need to read the back of the book. I knew I was going to read it. I had a feeling that it was going to be emotional, and it was. It isn't the typical genre that I enjoy reading or that I typically gravitate towards, but I am really happy that I read it. It has opened my eyes to a piece of U.S. history that I never knew about. And not all history is good, this being one of those times. Yet not knowing doesn't necessarily make it any better. The families that supported and participated in the legalized, and I use that word lightly, the legalized child trading should be ashamed of themselves. It was disgusting and unforgivable what children of this time had to go through. No child should have to suffer in that way, in the way that the kids in this book suffered. No child should be ripped away from their family for no reason. There is a difference between children being put into the system when there is abuse, drug use, or the families are just unable or unwilling to care for the child properly. But to have a child kidnapped off of their front porch or sold into the system, it isn't right. That's my little tangent. All right, now let's get into writing. I gave writing 4 stars for this one. Lisa Wingate, her writing style is simple and elegant, and it is pure storytelling. The pages are painted with descriptive text that makes you feel like you are there, that you are there in this world that she is seeing in her mind's eye. Talk of magnolias smelling like freedom, children wrapped in bed sheets like caterpillars, and the way the boat moans beneath their feet. all of it allows you to hear, to smell, even to taste what the characters are experiencing. And it is fantastic. All right, for story, I gave this one 4 stars. The book tells 2 stories, like I said earlier when I was reading the description. The first story centers around Rill Foss and her siblings, and the second centers around Avery Stafford, a woman who comes from a well-known political family in present day. The stories take place about 70 years apart, but they're weaved together chapter to chapter. And for this novel, I think it worked really well. They weaved into each other for the purposes of the story so that they could tell both sides, so that Lisa Wingate could tell both aspects of the story and let you learn about things from both aspects of the story. The first part of the novel, the first story that I really enjoyed, which is the one about Rill Foss and her 4 siblings, it covers their time and their experiences within the Tennessee Home for Children, and is both intriguing and devastating. The second story, that of Avery Stafford and the Stafford family, as Avery is kind of digging up her grandmother's history and past secrets, was a little less intriguing to me. I enjoyed it, but it was a little less interesting to me. In fact, at times it was a little bit boring, but I think it was necessary to tell that story in order for the story of the children to come through as strong as they did. So the Tennessee Home for Children portion of the story takes the unthinkable acts, the unthinkable facts that are based on recounted stories told by children who survived the Tennessee Children's Home Society orphanages and who later in life were able to locate their lost family members after the documents were unsealed in 1995, which was, I think, 45 years after the orphanage closed. So Lisa Wingate has created this family of believable siblings. They are fictitious, but they are a very believable family. She did this using a story that I'm sure she concocted in her head, but it was based on the terrible things that actually happened to the real life survivors. And she pulled those things together to create this story. These siblings were caught up in the terrible scheme of child trafficking, and it is heartbreaking, and it takes you on an emotional roller coaster. When you consider that these things actually happened in US history, not actually too far from where you're probably living, and could still be happening today in some areas in the US or at least around the world, it is sickening. It is absolutely sickening. As a mother, this was a rather hard book to read. The subject matter is disturbing and completely unforgettable, and totally unforgivable as well. I kept picturing my children as I was reading this. I kept picturing my children going through what Rill and her siblings went through, and it made me sick. It made me sick. Having a story like this be based on something that really happened makes it all that much more worse. That being said, I feel like it was extremely well written and hard to put down. I needed to get to the end. I needed to find out if everything worked out for them in the end. Even though I knew that for many of the children that were in the care of the Tennessee Home for Children, things didn't work out well, I needed to know that at least for these fictitious characters, things worked out. I'm not going to tell you if they did or not, but I read all the way to the end, and I think you will too. All right, for characters, I gave this one 4 stars. The character development is one of Lisa Wingate's strongest tools. She weaves 2 stories, then and now, into this book, and the only thing holding them together is the strong character development, the strong characters that she has created. Real Foss, aka May Crandall, and her siblings has such a tight bond that throughout the entire book, you are hoping and you are praying that there will be a happy ending for them, that everyone will find each other again and they will live happily ever after. This is one of those books that I really, really, really wanted a Hollywood ending. You don't always get what you want. All right, Avery Stafford, the great-granddaughter of Rill's sister, and that is a spoiler, so sorry. She is truly an honorable woman, and the modern day portion of this book centers around her and what she's going through and her digging up the history of her grandmother. And she is an honorable woman set on finding out the truth, even if it is buried secrets that could potentially hurt her political family. And I find that pretty awesome. All right, the appearance I gave 4 stars because, well, look at it. The cover is beautiful. It speaks to the heart without giving anything away, which I feel is just awesome. I do have favorite quotes in this one. I have 2 of them, actually. The first one is this: "One of the best things a father can do for his daughter is let her know that she has met his expectations. My father did that for me, and no amount of effort on my part can fully repay the debt." I love that quote. Both as a daughter and a mother, I love that quote. My dad did that for me, absolutely, hands down, 100%. And I do believe that my husband is doing that for our children as well, which just makes me so happy. All right, the second quote: "A woman's past need not predict her future. She can dance to new music if she chooses, her own music. To hear the tune, she must only stop talking. To herself, I mean. We're always trying to persuade ourselves of things." Okay, I love that because it speaks so true to the heart. We are always, as women, trying to talk ourselves out of things or persuade ourselves of things or change our own minds because we don't believe we're good enough. We don't believe we can. Society says this, society says that. But we can walk to the beat of our own music. We can choose what our future looks like, and our past doesn't have to regulate that. It does not have to dictate where we go from here. So I thought that one is really awesome. All right, there are so many books that Lisa Wingate has written that I cannot even come close to naming them all here, but a few that I think you should take a look at are, of course, this one, Before We Were Yours, but there's also Before and After, which I think you'll really enjoy, The Prayer Box, which looks so interesting to me, A Month of Summer, The Language of Sycamores, and the other one was Sisters. So take a look at those books. I will post a link down below in the description to my blog review of this book, and that is also where you will find links to all of these other amazing books that she has written. Check out the bio that I have on there for Lisa Wingate, and make sure, if you have read this book, comment below and let me know what you thought. If you haven't, are you going to pick it up and read it? Comment below and let me know what you thought. All right, that is book review with me, Nina Soden, the Redheaded Author. Please, if you like this video, click like below and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you never miss a video. Until next time, happy reading.